Welcome back to Tristrike Tuesdays number 25 here as we make our way into round 2 of the opening Swiss round here. Uh, for this set upcoming here, we got a match between Birthday Cake and 75% potassium nitrate, 15% sulfur, and I can't really see the last part of it, but yeah, it looks like we're in for a good, interesting set between two teams with names of varying length, is all I'll say. Yeah, it should be interesting to see what they've got for us here.
From what I understand, it looks like we had a surprising upset with our 75% friend here, as they were able to take Coral Convergence down 2-1 in their favor, which is definitely a surprising thing because I don't believe we know too much about our 75% knockout friends.
Yeah, might be a pickup. I'm not quite sure, but it'd be interesting to see what they can show us here for our first map on Splat Zone's Umami Ruins. And this is an interesting and often divisive map between the community at times, but should be interesting to see how these teams approach it with the two zones, with it being a bit more lockout heavy than your average zone map. So what do you think we'll end up seeing here to start for Umami zones?
I mean, it's probably going to be a pretty typical session. I know Reef Slider can be pretty effective at painting up one of the two zones. Like you said, there's gonna be a lot of deadlocking situations where they're both kind of just struggling to take full advantage of the map. It can be very difficult to be able to contend here, and you need to have a lot of really good patient plays. You need to be able to recognize when you need to be playing it safe and when you need to be pushing, especially when you're the backline primarily. I know there's been so many situations where I'm just sitting there in the back line, swinging my Explosher around, be like, I'm helping! And then my team loses because I wasn't helping and claiming the second one, and then we lose completely. And I'm like, gee, I wonder what happened there. So it's very important to be able to recognize when you need to start pushing with your teammates. And it's not that hard when you're in the middle of going back and forth. There's a lot of ways for a player to be able to shark and sneak up and catch players by surprise. That said, once advantage is pushed in one side or the other, usually it gets to be a really difficult match for the disadvantaged players because that high ground isn't really doing nearly as much as you'd like. And then everybody else is just funneled through this one pathway. Like, there is the alternative lore path to be able to try to take and sneak around, but it's clear as day whenever somebody's trying to sneak by through there and they immediately just get sniped out.
Yeah, I think that'll be the key, just breaking through that choke point between the enemy spawn and plats. But as you can see here, we are underway, and we do see a big swing comp from 75% there, along with a Carbon, a Junior, and Edit. And we get a connections unstable warning to start.
Well, let's talk about the weapons a little bit while we're trying to what we saw there, rather than worrying about that connection unstable, because that's a dime a dozen. You see those all the time.
That is true.
Big swig, and what was that? There was a heavy edit splat lane there.
I think rounded out by Junior and Carbon on 75%. I didn't quite catch what Birthday Cake was running, but yeah, I'm not sure if that is going to lead to a room restart for game one, or if game one's just going on right now without the stream being able to see. But we'll find out soon enough. But I guess what did you see from those comps just to start?
At least from that comp, Heavy Edit is a really fun one. It's going to struggle a little bit against those Chargers, those longer ranged weapons, because it doesn't necessarily beat them out, but it's far more mobile, and it comes in with its own Tacticooler as well, or Crab if I remember correctly, which isn't as good as the Tacticooler in most situations, but yeah, no, some teams make it work better. But Tacticooler high mobility means that you're often pushing alongside your team. You don't see Big Swig around very often, but a player that knows how to use that weapon. I love playing it for what's the Tricolors, because Inkvac is a really surprising off-meta pick that can catch a lot of players off guard. And in
I think
try
it was the
what?
Inkstorm one though.
Oh, okay. Inkstorm in that regards, then it's just additional damage. Players don't accommodate or don't plan for like the additional damage that comes from that acid rain. And there's a lot of situations where that turns that big swig, what looks like something that should take 2 hits or a very well aimed one shot to be able to take people out. All of a sudden, that incredible range that comes out way faster than a dynamo, but has a pretty similar coverage in a lot of situations. All of a sudden, that's doing the same amount of damage just because of that rain. And that can be a great pushing opportunity, especially if there's a lot of chip damage to work alongside it, like the heavy edit. So this might be like if they can get their game plan rolling, I would imagine that that is a very, very strong kit to be, or a team comp to be able to just kind of make things work. Especially if you, like you said, there was a junior there too, and a carbon. Like those are all weapons that can definitely benefit from just additional light bits of chip damage.
Absolutely, and I think like going back to the big swig, I know it's what many people see as a bottom tier, but I think that if you're gonna bring it out, I think this is the map for it. I think Umami has those small zones that can be easily painted by big swig to just contest and maybe just outright cap if you have some coordination on the other zone. And I think especially if you can get it camping up on that top mid, where it can kind of deal with both zones at once, with its good inconsistency, really good paint over a small area, I think that if they can get it done there, then we'll see how it goes. We are getting into it right now for real this time here, and we do see that big swing to start. All right, and on the side of birthday cake, we see a pretty standard combo, at least much more standard than what 75% is running with pencil, splash, bucket, and stamper here. Both teams head for that top mid position, but two of their teammates are going to get taken out, and Slashing Sword takes on the big swing as well, and Birthday Cake getting an early team fight win there as they're chasing the edit all the way back to spawn for what is, for all intents and purposes, a wipeout there. As you can see him still trying to hold space there. They do get taken out there trying to move back. That might have been a bit of an overextension there, as now try and maybe get some foothold in mid here, but you do see an Inkstrom come out as that crab for Birthday Cake is ending. We'll see if they can take advantage of that storm with the tail and the crab affecting them there. And the edit is perched up here on the right zone, trying to find a kill on the bucket. They're going to be able to escape in time, but it looks like that 75% is going to be able to advance to secure that right zone, get a bubble up there as well, secure it even more. And the big swig is now on top of that top mid. Should be able to get some good paint, but only if they can fight that stamper. And they do get a trade. 75% goes 3 down again. That's going to be another fight win for Birthday Cake despite losing some more. Although they do go 3 down on their own now, so maybe 75% can come back here and maybe get a recap here. And that's exactly what they do, is now they can maybe turn their sights to pushing forward and going on the offensive here.
Yeah, the big thing that I'm worried about 75% is going to struggle with here is just the fact that Birthday Cake has a lot of steady, consistent, strong damage. Like 75% has a lot of scary things that can surprise you with good plays and good setup with like rain and so on and so forth. But I don't know, man. Sometimes all you need is just a sniper raider to be able to shoot people down. Sometimes a stamper just coming in and just one-shotting you, or two-shotting you from like a safe distance, or the slosher just at a perfectly respectable range just annihilating you. Like there's a lot of weapons here that can be incredibly dangerous and scary all on their own, where 75% needs to be working together. Birthday Cake has a lot of them that are just like, if they just get one good opening, it can easily turn into a stampede and just blow 75% out. But so far, they did get the advantage. They are holding control right now. They are trying to clean onto things with a couple of very solid plays, some really good surprising catches. But they need to be able to hold steady and not lose anybody. They immediately lose 3 people as I'm saying that.
Yeah, and it looks like Birthday Cake is going to be able to recap here and kind of settle in. You can see that 2 are on top mid, more trying to push up even further. You can see they have a crab ready. You will see when they choose to pop that. Also have a zip there. Crab does come out, targeting that dome immediately. But 2 go down on the far right. They trade 1 back, but that carbon just wreaking havoc on the right side. They get rolled over by the crab, but not before they're traded back with the junior in the bubble. And it was a little messy at times, but 75% is going to be able to retake here, and they do not have a large penalty at all. If they can hold on here, get that bucket off top mid, which they are able to do, they can potentially think about getting lead here. Two more go down the side of Birthday Cake. That's Stamper and one other are going back towards Pit, maybe as you can see here. But 75% gets two taken as the Stamper gets some more trades. The bucket is able to get on top mid and get a quick kill on the edit, and I think that's going to be enough. It's just one is up there, and Birthday Cake is able to recap once again, this time with their own small penalty, and they could start thinking about increasing their lead here. As strikes come out towards the spawn area of 75%, the zip comes as well. We'll see if they can find anything. They're just kind of waiting on that far side there. The Big Swig poking the bucket back in mid there. They have a storm up, but they're taken out before they can act on it by the bucket. And now that penalty is completely over. Although they do go 3 down, and I think that's exactly what 78% ordered here. They force the bucket to jump out, and they get a successful retake here.
Indeed. 75% trying to hold on. We got Shoes just waiting, trying to look for a nice sharking opportunity. And I think they see, oh no, but they come down and are immediately taken out by the Slosher, who I don't think even noticed them as they took out the other player too, just getting a very satisfying 2-for-1 and just ruining that Carbon's day. I think that might have been from a splat bomb that was just kind of rolled off the ledge there, if I'm not mistaken, which that can just be really easy to not realize considering how fast those splat bombs roll out. We do get the heavy edit taking advantage of that rain, which is definitely helping out a little bit, and they're trying to hold on. We've got the last 8 seconds. They do manage to hold control, but with the last 10 seconds left, if things get split up a little too long, this is actually a situation where they have to be able to hold both consistently until they take the lead. If Birthday Cake is able to even hold one for about like 10 seconds or so, that's the end of the game. So this is like a very difficult position for 75% to be able to bring things back, and they're going to have to
They are managing it really well here, though, as they're just very close. I think Birthday Cake waited a bit too long there, as now they just got to run its own. They're all taken out, and 75% gets the overtime comeback victory on a map where it is not that easy to get a comeback of that length like successfully underway. And they just kind of waited Birthday Cake out there, and eventually they ran out of time and just took the easy fight where it just charged at them, and they get that win. They almost steal it from Birthday Cake there, take a 1-0 lead in this set early on.
Indeed. Very excellent showing from both sides. And yeah, Birthday Cake managing to hold on to that things for the longest while. Just that consistency was really helping them out with just straightforward weapons that make sense in what they're trying to do. But once 75% managed to get that momentum, managed to start making their weapons play off of each other a lot better, you start to see why they had that team composition. And it's just worked out a lot better. The heavy edit had that mobility to be able to bait people in, kind of move out of range, deal a lot of pressure and damage while they're just spraying all over the place. And then aside from unfortunate situations like the one we did catch on camera, sharking it with that kind of comp is very effective because you've got like, 3 weapons that can just pop out from nowhere, a big bubbler, Trizuka, just a bunch of things that can catch your opponent off of guard and get that clean one shot where they might not be prepared otherwise. And if you can get that kind of stuff going, that's how you get your win.
Yeah, absolutely. A Carbon is just a weapon that can just absolutely take over a game when it's on, when it's firing on all cylinders. And you didn't quite see that there. I think it was more of a combined team effort for 75% to get that successful hold and carry it all the way to an overtime victory. But I think we got to keep an eye out if they do go Carbon for these next two, as that can be a weapon that just can flip a game upside down for a team like Birthday Cake, which is kind of reliant on patient retakes, good use of specials, taking more good fights. But we'll see what these two teams are out here for Ship-Shape Tower coming up. And on the side of Birthday Cake, we see a machine and a Neo Splash, I believe, with the Stamper and the Pencil returning. And we see an undercover Brella instead of a Big Swig. So 75% continuing to pick their bottom tier weapons along with the Carbon Jr. edit from before. It should be very interesting to have that bottom tier weapon undercover Brella does here on Ship-Shape. As you can see, the teams open up here. Neosplash charging his strikes immediately within the first 15 seconds of the game. They throw it to the left side of the map, but it doesn't look like they can get any value off it because they have to snuff out the carbon doing their own flank there. And two go down on the side of Birthday Cake here, as they seem a bit disjointed to start. Betzel backing up a bit all the way to spawn now, actually. Maybe to get some more strikes by the time the tower gets all the way back. The resetter comes in across the grids, doesn't find anyone, is able to get taken down. There's also one straggler in pit, but they are managing to get a kill as a bomb takes out the Neosplash, and this could be trouble for Birthday Cake here, as they have all 4 people around tower. I believe they're going to get past this first checkpoint, and yep, they do get there. And now they're pushing the tower through into court. They still have resources. They have a Zuka and a Reslider now. Let's see how far they can take this push here.
They're making some decent progress. They are going to have to pause here and back away as it reaches that open space. It becomes a lot easier for Birthday Cake to be able to counter push. Ooh, but 2 snipes with the Trizuka. They are just cleanly out in the open. And you see the carbon immediately going over there, seeing that a player was trying to perch up and start to play some defense, and is like, not on my watch. And gives a very nice opportunity for 75% to be able to break through the second checkpoint, which means now they have a clear running to the end if they want, or this might be a good opportunity to kind of hold defense. Though they kind of have a more aggressive toolkit. I imagine their form of defense isn't necessarily going to be, we're just going to hold the line. It's going to be, we're going to destroy your line, and then we're going to push into yours, and you're just going to have to back up.
Yeah, but now Birthday Cake, they do manage to stop the bleeding a bit, despite letting second checkpoint fall. You do see the Booyah Bomb get the pop there, but 2 do go down, and it's like Birthday Cake, they're going to have to maybe think about backing up. So Resetter comes into the right side, gets 1 kill. It's traded back, but not before someone else gets the machine. And right now you can see the Carbon try maybe get some open space, hiding behind cover now, looking for an opportunity. You see 1 drop, another drop, but they do a good job of ganging up on the Carbon, taking him out before they can get any high impact plays going. The tower is pushing forward, currently no one around it for 75%, as Birthday Cake looks to have held successfully for now, but I think at this point, if you're 75%, you're not super focused on pushing, since you have already gotten a really good push for this map, as 2 more do go down when Birthday Cake tried to retake right side there. And now you can think about pushing even further. Now you got 3 people in court, you have the tower in a really advantageous path, you have a Reslider again. Let's see what 75% can do. Is they have a bubble on the tower. This might be it. The Reslider goes up all the way deep in spawn. They get taken out, but it distracted Birthday Cake for long enough, and that's going to be a KO. As 75% takes a 2-0 lead, enough to win the set on Birthday Cake there.
Very surprising, very impressive as well. They're definitely off meta picks. They're off meta strategies, and kind of just they're playing in a way where it's definitely they're looking at things that are a little bit beyond what people tend to be thinking of and considering. They're going for off-meta picks that are not only catching the other team off guard, but they're picking them in ways that work with the rest of their team. So a lot of the more notable weaknesses, especially if these other teams aren't trained and equipped to be able to respond to them, which we're only at Div 3, it is perfectly understandable for them to not be equipped to be able to respond to them. But that just means that 75% has those opportunities to kind of take advantage of those windows and be able to put a lot more danger, a lot more threat, a lot more pressure in, and be able to kind of just make these surprising plays that we've been seeing so far.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the Undercover Umbrella had immense impact there. I mean, like, it got many Restarters in a relatively shorter game than in a KO. And that last one there, even though it didn't get any kills, it drew so much attention, I think, from 3 or 4 people of Birthday Cake, that the tower was able to progress all the way to the goal pretty much unimpeded, because everyone was focused on trying to cancel out that Restarter, trying to deal with the undercovers that's so deep in their spawn. I think that it was absolutely a good pick for 75% there. Yeah, we'll see what they surprise us with next time for Haggle Zones. Do they go back to Big Spike? Do they run it back with Undercover? Do they pull out something completely different that we haven't seen? I think with this team, anything's possible. But I mean, what are you expecting from them here?
There's a lot of things that we could see here. I honestly don't know. I feel like we've seen at this point 75% has demonstrated that they've got really good pushing strategies and tools, and they're likely going to want to try to utilize it here again. This stage works pretty well for sharking and sneaking around. I feel like that's going to work a little bit more to their advantage. But if Birthday Cake is able to take advantage of the defensive perch, they're going to have a much easier time because this is one of those stages where it is exceptionally more difficult to push against the defensive unit. 75% coming in with an E-leader, though, completely catching me off guard here. Everything else still pretty tried and true with their loadout, very aggressive weapons. But then we've just got an E-leader just to shore up that kit, which I'm curious to see how this is actually going to play out. Ooh, it's not playing out very good.
Yeah, as you can see, Birthday Cake does get an immediate 3 down. They snap out the carbon on the flank and go from there. And it is important to note that 65% is now without a KNO₃. So those 3 down situations where Birthday Cake can get them on without getting any trades of their own, that's going to be extremely valuable for Birthday Cake. And let me see if they can take advantage of that. But we'll see here that they do have a reset already. They have a bubble ready, but the other two go down. This undercover gets taken out by Tristrike, and now there's just a junior. They go down as well. That's a delayed wipe on the side of Birthday Cake, and now they can push really far. The bucket's far up. They can fight with their teammates to take out the carbon, which they do. They're pushing the undercover. They are going to die to Reslider, unfortunately. But they used that Reslider. They needed that for zone. They used that a little bit too early, so they did a good job baiting it out. Now that with 2 down, they might have a chance at zone. But the pencil takes out the undercover from the other side's tent, and 70% gets there in time despite everything. It looked like they were headed for a first push knockout there, but 70% gets back and is now able to settle in the mid here.
Indeed. We've got the Wavebreaker out. That is going to help out a little bit more with keeping this defense, keeping this back line. That is a very aggressive place for that E-leader to be, and I'm surprised that they managed to be able to back up. I feel like the right call would just be to jump away, but it would have been to jump away, but instead we see they are going to get completely wiped out. The E-leader taking a very aggressive position here. I don't know. I guess this is more defensive than aggressive, but this also just seems like a very easy place to get caught out by pretty much anything like that.
And that's exactly what you see is the Zipcaster gets a nice kill. They do get trade back, but I think if you're fighting a team that are cooler, trades are going to be good for you. So really good play by the Zip to pressure the anchor there. As you do see the Crab get taken out there, along with the Stamper being down again, 70% is going to be able to recap the zone. And despite everything that's happened in this game, where they got rushed down earlier, they got taken all the way to 1 against them, 70% can now try and settle in, put that all in the past, and maybe see what they can do here. But 2 go down, the bubble's value gets completely canceled out there. And just like that, 70% is now 3 down again. Birthday Cake is now all the way up in their plat again. They're taking position on their tent. It's a very dangerous position for a weapon like a bucket or a crab even to be. As you can see them setting. They do have to drop back down, though, with the pencil being taken out. And 70% doing a good job snuffing them out of plat, getting back in a position where they can set up mid, maybe get a Reslider on zone, a bubble further up. You see that undercover drop. They're going to pop Slider. The bubble does go down. The Slider goes down without getting any value. With 10 takes left from the penalty, this might be Birthday Cake's chance to knock out and finish what they started. They're fighting there, the leader, and that's going to be it. Birthday Cake getting a really, really good Game 3 win to make it 2-1. And even though they do lose the set, a really strong win to close this set out.
Indeed. Definitely taking advantage of the defensive features of this map and just we saw taking advantage of the fact that there was a huge inconsistency with this comp that 75% went with this time, where every other time the team comps all kind of work together in being a dive comp, a push aggressive style, but this time 75% had the E-leader as their backline while everybody else was hyper aggressive, which just meant there was this really weird disconnect where either the E-leader needed to be right up with the rest of the team, pushing to be able to be impactful, or they were so far back and not actually assisting with anything, which just led to this really awkward situation where they didn't get that synergy that they really had in the last 2 games. And then Birthday Cake, really solid plays overall, and just also making some smart calls and taking advantage of the fact that 75% team composition was a little more experimental there and less synergized.
Yeah, I think the key difference there was that there was no cooler on the side of 75%. I think that completely changed the game for both teams. I think it made trades extremely valuable for Birthday Cake. I think it just made that 75% retake attempts, like made the retake attempts a lot slower and just a lot more sluggish, kind of what you were getting at earlier. And I think that really the cooler was really holding that entire comp together. That's what it appeared to be, at least. But yeah, really good win by Birthday Cake, and but 75% still gets the overall set win. Really good set between these two teams. Don't you think?
Indeed. Well, yeah, no, that's ultimately the final game. 75% in a very strong standing still. Likely going to be in good position to be working towards the gold bracket. That said, we are only halfway through this Swiss pool. We've got 2 more games to go. And when we come back, we will be heading into round number 3. So stay tuned.